All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ms. TV Total Football. It's been a while since I've done a piece of content on this second channel, but we're going to try and ramp things up with Taryn in the house. Taryn's been a massive member of the first channel, the main channel. If you guys remember, the OGs out there will remember Taryn's days on that particular channel. We used to be streaming on a regular basis. So hopefully you'll see a lot of Taryn in this second channel. We're going to try and build this up as much as we can by bringing you all the other news besides Chelsea news. So we're going to start things off with Newcastle today. Lots to talk about. Been meaning to talk about Newcastle for a little while. Before we do that, Taryn, besides the hay fever, because you look like you're ripped up. How you doing, bro?
Yeah, good man. Obviously, the hay fever is not great in the UK. I think it's the worst I've ever seen it. Felt it even. But yeah, all good. Happy to be back on, and the news is quite exciting today. So looking forward to it.
Good stuff, man. Before anyone starts commenting in the comment section, yeah, it's hay fever. I didn't say anything to Taron. I didn't make him upset. He wasn't crying or anything like that. It's
Uh,
literally hay fever.
well, I can't confirm that, but yeah, it was actually the hay fever. It is the hay fever. Yeah, didn't do anything. Nothing wrong with my eyes. No rude comments. Just hay fever.
It's
Yep.
hay fever, man. It is hay fever. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into this. Taryn, Sandro Tonali looks like he's going to be a Newcastle player very soon. The news, it just escalated quickly. Like a couple of days ago, I started seeing this rumor, and before you know it, David Ornstein dropped the bomb on this particular news. Obviously, he's one of the OGs when it comes to delivering these transfer news. And this is what he had to say a couple of days ago. Newcastle close to agreement with AC Milan to sign Italy international Sandro Tonali for fee in region of 70 million euros, subject to final negotiations for 23-year-old Newcastle United could be landing Eddie Howe's top midfield target. This was their top midfield target. And then off the back of that, obviously, Fabrizio Romano came in and he's now been driving this particular news. Obviously, Fabrizio being from Italy has a lot of inside details about Italian footballers. Newcastle will complete Sandro Tonali deal to date. So this is the latest, literally about an hour ago. After verbal agreement reached yesterday, medical already scheduled, and agents flying to Romania, where he's with Italy under 21s for the Euros. Documents being reviewed, then completed. Taryn, before I ask you how you feel about this player, and we'll talk about Newcastle down the track as well, of course, I just want to tell you, man, this is one of my favorite players from Serie A, man. I've been watching specifically, obviously we've played AC Milan in the Champions League last season, so I was had the liberty to watch AC Milan. But on top of that, I've been watching AC Milan quite a bit last season because of Rafael Leao's interest and a few of the other bits and pieces. And every time I've watched them, man, I've just been so excited about Sandro Tonali, even though he's not our player, but I was just as a footballer, so technically gifted and physically strong as well, man, for a stocky guy. Very, um, it reminds me of a little bit like Andre Pirlo, where you can't just push him off the ball, but I think he's a little bit more physically, astute than Andre Pirlo, and not taking nothing away from Andre Pirlo. So Taryn, man, firstly, what do you think about this signing to Newcastle, man? They're doing a bit of a madness.
I think it just shows every single signing Newcastle have made so far has been ideally a very good signing. They haven't made any waste signings. You've seen Alexander Isak, you've seen Bruno
Mm.
Guimaraes, all very spot on signings. And this is another one, a very astute, exactly what they need, and they've gone out and got the man. It's quite interesting. A player who was very comfortable in Milan. It's his dream club to play there, and to make a big
Yeah.
move over to Newcastle is a really big step for the project that they had
Taryn,
over there.
are
Mm,
you surprised that a player like Sandro Tonali, generally this level of players, like he is the future of Italian football. Like he
mm.
literally is the future. He's now participating in under 21s. Are you surprised that he's leaving AC Milan and joining Newcastle United? I know Newcastle is very has an exciting project now, but these type of transactions don't actually happen from Serie A. Like they're
Mhm.
top dogs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's a key point, but we also have to understand that the wage package that Newcastle are offering is almost
Mm,
double to what Milan were paying him. He's going to be
mm.
around 8 million euros a year plus 2 million euros bonuses, which is around £190,000 a week, which is a lot of money for a
Oof.
22-year-old
Yeah.
who's not even in his prime yet. So that's also what we have to take into account. Young players clearly are going for money a lot more than they were back in 2010s and stuff. So that's also a big factor. But if you look at Newcastle, what Eddie Howe's done, many players will be convinced. Champions League
Mm.
football with the squad that when the relegation zone less than a year ago, I'd be convinced if I was a young player as well trying to go to Newcastle because they're not the same club they were a few seasons ago. They clearly are going like this,
True.
upwards direction. And in that midfield alongside Joe Linton and Bruno Guimaraes, I think he clearly sees himself as that midfield, the holding player there. So
Fantastic signing. Now, well said, man. In regards to Newcastle, as you've just alluded, they're in an upward trajectory. Are you somewhat surprised? Because I did not expect this. I knew when they were bought, like, okay, do you know what? They're bought by the Saudi backing PIF group. A lot has been said about PIF group with Chelsea as well, which we'll not get into on this particular channel. That's for the main channel. They've got a hell of a lot of money, like unlimited amount of money. But do you know what, Taryn? They're not going out there just splashing money left, right, and center for anyone and everyone. They're going for quality. They're literally going for quality level players. As you said, Bruno Guimaraes, Isaac, Kieran Trippier is also a fantastic player. This one as well, Sandro Tonali. As you said, that combination between Guimaraes, Joe Linton, and this guy literally is the face of Italian football, like a huge, huge player for them. I mean, are you somewhat surprised that, wow, these guys, I think they're really setting themselves up for a permanent fixture in the top four? I really think it's going to be very difficult to get, dislodge them from there.
I think Newcastle have proven that despite having the highest, the most high paying owners in the whole of the Premier League and even the world probably right now, they're not just aimlessly splashing cash. Like, not going to mention a few clubs splashing cash. They're clearly going for the signings and looking for the players that work. Nick Pope is another one, a great signing, cheap, fits the bill
Yes.
perfectly. I haven't really seen many misses so far. Maybe I can't even think of one off the top of my head. Maybe Anthony Gordon's a miss, but he might even come good very soon.
Some of them,
Um,
existing players, have gotten
mm,
better, like Almiron, for instance.
yeah, exactly. That Eddie Howe is a very good project manager, and I was still corrected because I didn't think he was the right man. I
Me
thought
neither.
maybe Luis
Yeah.
Enrique, someone would have been a good man for that massive project, but he's proven me wrong. And Newcastle have proven that with money, you can either go one way, you can go in the PSG and the Chelsea way, or you can go in the really good and the smart business way, which is good.
No, 100%, man. I mean, do you think they're gonna be they're cementing their position for top four next season, Taryn? Like they look like they're not a one-hit wonder like they did last season. They look like, nah, we're here for good. We're here to play
Mhm,
Champions League football. We're here to compete in Champions League football, not just be a number and just be a participant. But at the
mhm.
same time, we want to be someone who are a regular fixtures. Or do you get that feeling, or this is all a bit too premature to say, or is that the vibe you're getting?
I think it is a bit too premature. We have to see a bit more of the business in the summer because this is just we almost forget we're only in June. This is crazy. All the business that's happened so far is literally 2 weeks into the window. So we have to see what Liverpool are going to do, what
Mm,
Chelsea are even going to do if we're really going to be serious about our business, what Man United are going to do. Because I feel like last year, Arsenal, the reason Arsenal did so well in the Premier League, the reason Newcastle got top four was also a testament to us dropping out of the top four, Man
of
United
course.
having a good season, third place. Liverpool obviously dropping out. Spurs having a bad season. But if these three clubs get their business correct, I think it'll be very difficult for Newcastle to compete in the top four. So we have to see with the transfer business. If Chelsea can sign a great striker, holding midfield, and the goalkeeper, I think Newcastle are in jeopardy with their top four place. Same with if Liverpool sign Kepa and Thuram, Mamadou Kone, they sign a
Mm.
new CDM, then their place is in jeopardy, in my opinion. So you have to see with the transfers.
Nah, fair play, man. There's still a long way to go in the transfers. To wrap things up, Taryn, it's been fantastic, man. I've just remembered how cool it used to be to have you around in the stream in the main channel. So I'm looking forward to building this particular channel with you with a whole heap of different other clubs, and I think you're going to enjoy this as well, and not just talk about Chelsea all the time. Final thing in regards to Newcastle, Sandro Tonali, quality player they're bringing in. Obviously, as you said, we'll wait and see how the rest of the window goes. What? what do you really think their outlook looks like for next season with Champions League football as well? Massive football club, unbelievable fan base. I don't know if you've been to Newcastle and watched a match there. Have you ever traveled there?
It's too
But
far. It's too
it's
far.
too
It's like
far.
a 7 hour drive.
It's
No.
too far. But every time I see it on TV, man, the stadium looks epic. The fans look epic. They're buzzing all over social media as well. What's your final verdict? I know it's still early days, but that level of business that they're doing, where do you see Newcastle, a particular team to be worried about next season?
Like I said, with transfers, ingoes and outgoings is very important. But the way Newcastle are going right now, with just a year and a half of this PIF investment, Newcastle are on track to be a big danger in European football with
Ooh,
anyone watching. Look at their signings, big name signings, astute,
yeah.
smart signings, and the positions they need them. That's not normal, and I
Do you know
think
what, Taryn?
seriously, people need to take them
I
seriously.
thought
Yeah.
they were just going to go out there and splash money. I
Mm.
thought they were just going to buy random players and bulk up their squad. Like
Mbappe,
what?
Neymar, yeah.
Yeah. Like, for instance, Nottingham Forest, they just pretty much bought
Mm.
like everyone, us as well. We spent so much. I'm very, like, I must say, I
Mm.
admire the way they've been doing their business under the new ownership. You know what I mean?
Yeah, seriously, they are a big threat, and they need to keep this way going up. Because signings at Anthony Gordon for me are not really the signings they should be
Mm.
making. That was kind of a bit of a blip, in my opinion. So they need to just calm down, prioritize the big signings, and don't just splash cash like we've done. So yeah,
Fair play, man. Fair play. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. PIF backed Newcastle United looks like are going to wrap up Sandro Tonali. For me, one of the most exciting players in Serie A player that I've been watching a lot, a player I would have loved at Chelsea Football Club. But I know, that we don't have any links. And at the same time, I just never expected a player of his caliber, face of Italian football, to leave Serie A. But as Taryn rightly said, money talks, man, and Premier League got a lot of money. So, yeah, on that thought, ladies and gentlemen, we'll wrap things up. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Smash the like button. Make sure you comment in the comment section. Before we go, Taryn, you want to plug something?
yeah. Thanks for having me on. First of all, I think I always loved what you used to do back in the day. Lockdown days really kept me going during the lockdown in the UK. What do I do now? I do run my own TikTok account and Instagram Reels called Viva Football, approaching 100k very soon. So if any of you guys could help me push to that number, that'd be great. Thank you.
We'll put the link in the description as well. Make sure you guys click on that. Follow Taryn on all the socials. Everything will be in the description. Until next time, everyone, take care and see ya.